And again, let's look at how that can manifest. So those are what the cells are looking like. What does it look like in the mirror? How do I feel? Well, the first thing that a very acidic body will generally do, and let me start by saying that your acids will settle into the weakest part of your body. So a lot of this will depend on your particular family history and your particular genetics. But one very common way that the body handles all this acid is to store it in fats. It'll hold on to fats. And that's just like taking the acid, which is very caustic, right? And it can hurt our vital organs and our tissues. And so our body wants to put it somewhere. It'll store it inside fat, just like a little Tupperware container. It'll put it in there to keep the rest of our body safe from that very dangerous acid. Well, that's all good and fine. We want to be safe. We don't want our organs harmed, but we don't really want to be fat either. So if we are eating an acid and we continue to eat an acidic diet, we know we're going to pack on the pounds. Now, another option for our body to or cancel out that acid is to neutralize it. And a great neutralizing chemical is calcium because it's very basic. But it's going to leach that calcium from our bones. I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in increasing the aging factor of my bones. I don't want them being brittle and breaking easily. I want good, healthy, strong bones. So the concept of leaching calcium from the bones, that doesn't turn me on either. Now, another thing that the body can do is it can add lipids into the bloodstream, which is just another way of saying that it raises your cholesterol. Now, all those lipids may serve to protect the interior pathways of the blood, right? Because if the bloodstream's a little more acidic, all those pathways need to be protected so that our arteries and veins don't break down from exposure to those acids. So again, our body's producing something that is very safe for us, that helps us out a lot. But again, there are a lot of problems that come along with increased cholesterol, right? And the potential to clog arteries and veins. All that is also very, very dangerous. Another thing the body can do is just try to dilute all that acid. And a great way to do that is to just retain water. Just water it down a little bit. Make sure that acid is not so strong. And another extreme thing the body can do at the cellular level is the cells can mutate. And they do that in attempt to survive. But what is another word for mutating cells within the body? Cancer. That's right. Cancer. So you can see if we let this cycle go, we are dealing with not only being fat and having weak bones and all this other crazy stuff. Again, like I said in the beginning, it's going to depend on where your body has a family history of weakness or genetic weakness or maybe even injury in the past, because the problem will be solved by the weakest area of your body. It's sort of it's the way that it goes is that these acids will settle into weaker parts of the body. So no one can tell you which way your body's going to choose to handle it, but I don't know about you. I'm not interested in my body having to handle it in any of those ways. I would rather take control of my health by alkalizing my body. I can control what I eat. Maybe I can't control the environment. Maybe I can't control my genetics. But you know what? I can darn well control what I choose to put in my mouth at every meal, and so can you. If we just alkalize the body, it will heal itself. Now, I don't want you to think that alkalizing your body means you're just going to sit down and eat a plate of chard. That's not the case here. This 14 days is about eating delicious, healthy, whole, real foods. I have had people tell me that they have not treated their family and themselves to such delicious gourmet food in years, and that this diet changes not only the way they look and feel, but also the way they sort of think about the concept of cooking. It makes them interested and excited to spend time in the kitchen because they know that it is their pathway to have amazing health. It makes them feel empowered. It makes them feel like they have control. And you do. We all do. So how do we turn it around? Again, that downward spiral is a spiral that can go upward too. If we just clean the body, that will be a self-propelling improvement cycle, just like it was a nasty downward spiral. So we cleanse the body, we start consuming rich, whole, delicious foods. And when we're eating raw foods, these are very nutrient dense and, again, enzyme-rich foods. So we start with cleansing the body, and then that's going to help us get everything under control. All those populations of organisms that were adding waste before, well, they're just not happy in that alkaline environment. It's no good for them anymore. anymore, so they just won't thrive there. And as their waste is no longer something that our body has to deal with, we start to look better, we start to feel better. And as we feel better, we know that that is going to contribute to us being more alkaline, having better thoughts about ourselves and our body and the way we feel. And then all we really need to do is just nurture our bodies. We need to keep it up. We need to drink plenty of water. We need to exercise so that every cell of our body is getting plenty of oxygen. And we need to make sure we continue on with a very healthy diet so that we get all of the vitamins and minerals that we need. And when we live that way, of course, we continue to feel good and even better. And again, that contributes back and contributes back so that eventually you're on the same spiral, but this time you're headed towards a life of vitality. That is ultimately what we're trying to get to. Now, one last thing I want to touch on in terms of raw foods, and some people find this interesting. I found this very profound when I first saw these images. Now, these images are taken by a very sensitive machine that can measure the megahertz of anything, but in this case, we're measuring the megahertz coming off of food, the energy coming off of the food. Now, if you look at this closely, look at that raw lentil sprout. That's just a single one little sprout, right? And it has all this beautiful, violet and red and white light coming off of it. And then you look again at the one that's cooked. Now that lentil sprout has been steamed for 1 minute. Steamed for 1 minute. And look at the difference. Look at how the light patterns and the energy has been diminished just from that brief minute of steaming it. So you can see if we're baking something for 45 minutes or we're boiling the life out of some spinach, you can just imagine the difference in the energy that our body is able to pull out of this food. Now, if we were able to photosynthesize like plants, we wouldn't have to eat at all, right? So ultimately, we are trying to suck up from our food, to gather in from our food, the energy of the sun. And plants do that so very efficiently. And then why would we take that very efficient life form that pulls in light and transfers it into our body and boil the heck out of it so that light is diminished or maybe even no longer there? We wouldn't. We don't want to do that. That's not it. That's not what we're about. Let's just look at one more of these because this one was amazingly profound. This is just a fresh cabbage. This is a bit of cabbage. And then this is dropped into boiling water for 1 minute. And look at that. I mean, that just thing goes from this beautiful glowing blue orbs to this crazy thing that looks like a dead alien. So again, just bringing home the concept that when we cook the food, we are changing the energy that is available to our bodies. Now, I really think that raw food has it all. Hopefully this has helped you to see that you are on the right path for the next 14 days and you are going to attain that rockin' body that you're looking for and feel amazing. And you can do it with just simple, amazing, delicious food. You're only going to spend 4 days cooking. I mean, you might spend a little time putting the meals together here and there, but for the most part, you make all the staples on those preparation days. And this delicious raw food has it all. I mean, you're going to get all the enzymes the food has to offer. This menu is very, very alkalizing. You're going to get all the energy because you know you have not heated that food above 118 degrees. And best of all, it's going to be very easy for you to enjoy this food because it is delicious. I mean, you're not even going to go without desserts and all of your favorite foods. You're going to be able to enjoy amazing dishes. Even the kids will enjoy them, and definitely start getting in the habit of drinking your delicious green drinks. So all in this 14 days, you're going to eat amazing raw food and start moving towards that rockin' body you've always wanted. Get to it.